still a little bit sick, so my throat's still a little bit off, but we have new scenery. I now have a tripod, so I'm hands-free, and well, it's not new scenery. We've still got our lovely 5-star books here. I need to update this. I do have like another month's worth of 5-star books to go here, month and a half-ish, but now we can see a little bit of my shelf, just a little bit here, and my timetable for class and stuff like that. So this is the new setup. I hope you like it. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to change. I've been feeling around with the lighting, but I am awkwardly in a position where I can either put on a light up here, which looks really amazing. This side of my face look really dark. Even if I put a lamp on that side of me, and that lamp just blinds me because it's one of those super heavy duty lamps that you can't face it yourself because you die. I currently have natural light coming through the window instead of a light up there, but I do have a light way over there on, which hopefully is kind of balancing it out a little bit. But so yes, if you don't like the lighting, just let me know, because and I have to get used to staring at the camera because you're over there, and I keep looking at myself because I'm the worst at this, and I'm filming on an iPad, so I can. Yep. So today we're doing a tag video. I am so sorry that I keep staring at myself. I am making the biggest effort, but it's really hard. Okay, so today we're doing a tag video. This is the My Books book tag, and I was tagged, well, not really tagged, but I'll say I was tagged by Meg from TheTeenBookAddict. She essentially tagged everyone, and I will count myself under that because I wanted to film a video and I thought tags are fun, so why not do a tag? So for today I probably won't have any books to hand up and show you because of course I am at uni and not at my parents' house, which means 90% of my books aren't here, especially the ones I've already read. Like I have I have exactly 0 books here at the moment that I've actually read. So, ta-da! So I will be putting up, I'll make sure I'm over this side of the frame, and I'll be putting up here little jiggers. I may change sides. You'll see. Why am I telling you this? You'll see it right now, but there will be a thing. Or on the side. Thing. Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, what is your favourite romance contemporary novel? And I've been trying to think of really interesting answers for this because, yes, I absolutely adore so many of the like stock standard everybody loves stuff, but I don't want to just talk about those. So probably my #1 contemporary of all time is still probably The Fault in Our Stars, but one of the other ones I really, really love and enjoy is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Eleanor and Park is like full of these musical references. It's set in the 80s and follows 2 kids growing up doing their love thing and having it all not go great. And it is so heartbreaking, but it is filled with all the things I love. It's kind of like Perks of Being a Wallflower in its time period sense of thing, where it reads like it's the 80s. It reads like now, but with all these references that I adore, and I really love it. And I recommended it to my housemate Jesse. He loved it, and his little brother Elijah loved it, and literally everyone I can push it on to who has read it loves it. And most people talk about Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, but I liked Eleanor and Park maybe on a more deeper level. Like I loved Fangirl, but it was fun, whereas Eleanor and Park I loved on a deep, touch me in the soul level. What is my favourite sci-fi novel? I meant to do Spirit Fingers and it didn't quite fit. This one's really hard because I honestly don't read that much sci-fi. I always want to and I never get round to it. Or if it is sci-fi, it's kind of on the border of sci-fi dystopian and I don't really know what to call it. But one true sci-fi book that I absolutely love is Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the whole series, to be honest. Though the first one is probably the funniest. And it just has some of the most hilarious one-liners, multiple liners. Like, it's just so funny. So funny. And hilarious. And I love the movie adaptation with Martin Freeman and everyone. Like, it's literally one of those British crazy things that everyone is part of. And I love it. And I got it as a box set from my mother for Christmas a couple of years back, way back. And I read them all and I love them. The only one I haven't read is the new book, which was written by Ian Colfer, who I love as well. And I have to read that. These are set in, if you didn't know, which you should, because they're huge and are famous and have been around for ages, they're set in space, and it's essentially a space opera, hilarious mess of crazy, and it is amazing. What is your favourite YA book? My favourite, your favourite, my favourite YA book. So I read a lot of YA, if you didn't notice, so this one's a bit hard for me, because I read a lot and they're all so different and I don't really know how to compare them. But one I absolutely adore, which I will talk to you about today, is The Winner's Curse by Marie Rukowski. It is stunning. Look at it. It's gorgeous. And it is so well written. Like, this is a cover by that lives up to its expectations. Doesn't always happen, but this one does. It is stunningly written, beautiful plot, intricate detail. It reads kind of like a young adult fantasy, but there's no magic, nothing like that. It's all otherworld, which is the closest thing to a fantasy you could call it. It's set in a different world with, kind of like Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones has more magic than this. Game of Thrones actually does have some magic going on, but not this one, or at least not so far in the series. And it's just political intrigue and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, I don't even know what to compare it to. I don't even know how to explain how good it is. But it essentially follows a girl called Kestrel, who is the daughter of a wealthy, aristocratic, like, general in the army, who they're like in a colony from the mainland. They're in, so it's a whole discussion on colonialism and sovereignty and all the kinds of stuff that is great, and world politics and things. And so they're in a colony, and the native people of the land they've kind of enslaved them, and it's all really new. Like, she buys a slave, and the whole colony only developed when he was a kid. He was part of the natural, like, the native people who weren't savages. They had this whole, it's kind of like when Britain went into India, and India had this well set up culture that was going on, and Britain just came in and stomped all over it. And it kind of follows that kind of idea. And it's a really interesting take on all these themes and stuff that are still really important today, and really help frame our idea of, like, history, world history. And it's just really good, and the tension and the cliffhangers. And I love the second one too, and I'm just really excited for the third one. Please be out relatively soon, or I'm gonna die. What is your favourite series of all time? This is another super duper hard one, because I have so many series I adore, like Harry Potter, and oh god, I blanked. Like, I love the Ice Station, the Scarecrow series, and the 7-Inch Wonders Jack West series by Matthew Riley. I love both of those. They're great. Read them. But perhaps my favourite of all time, I did not pre-prepare this answer, so let's see what pops out of my head. Kind of looking around my shelves, looking for things in my head, because this here's not any use. Okay, I'm gonna say those series are all amazing and probably are on par. The one I haven't talked about which I don't really talk about my experience with, is Game of Thrones. Like, everyone talks about Game of Thrones, both the book and the TV show, but I don't really talk about my love for Game of Thrones. I read Game of Thrones the series, which I enjoy infinitely better than the movies, TV show. TV show is becoming a bit blah to me, but I still watch it. I haven't watched the new episodes, so no spoilers, please. No. I'll be watching it soon when Jesse is back from his holiday with his girlfriend. And so no spoilers. And I adore the books. Like, I just love them. I've read all of them. They took such a chunk from my life. I think they took me almost a year to read all of them, and I didn't read much else that year. I read a few other things here and there, but I gave my mum the first 2 books for Mother's Day, and she didn't read them, but I did. And she found them just too complicated. She has not yet got over season 1 of the TV show, so she couldn't really do the books real well. I'd watched season 1 already of the TV show when I read book 1 and 2, and then I watched season 2 and then read the rest. That's kind of around the timeline that I read them, when I was still in high school. And I have a lot of feelings about so many of the characters. There are characters that frustrate me, there are characters I love, but what I love most is that they're whole-rounded people. They're not caricatures, and they're not, like, they've got flaws, major flaws. And, like, the characters that I hate with lots of passion are sometimes the ones I enjoy reading from most, and it's really good. And because I haven't read a book from the Game of Thrones series since I did this channel, seeing as I'm entirely up to date, I've read all of them except for the ones that have yet to be released, and one short story, but only because it's in that, so I haven't got to it yet. I've read the other short story. I've read the short story from the Dangerous Women anthology, but I have not read the one from the Rose anthology yet. But I love it. I am planning on, there's so much I have forgotten because it is so complicated and so much has happened, but I intend to do reread once the final book comes out. Let's be honest, if the final book comes out, when the series is done and dusted and won't be having any more books released, I will reread the entire series, because it's a heck of a long series. But when the next one comes out, I'm going to jump straight into it, and hopefully you'll find some things online to refresh my memory, because somebody was talking about ideas for the next book and mentioned something that happened in the last one, and I had blacked it out. I won't say it because spoilers, but I had blacked out, like, the big ending to the last currently published book. But, you know, so that's what I'd call probably my favourite series of all time, under Harry Potter, but there's no need for anyone to talk about Harry Potter. Harry Potter is gorgeous and beautiful. And a couple of other series that I really love are probably at par with Game of Thrones. That's kind of where we're at. Game of Thrones. What book could you read over and over again? This is probably one question where it's really fair to answer with Harry Potter, because I've reread a lot of books in my time, but very rarely have I reread a book and felt like it was just as good, if not better, the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, or the fifth time, or the, like, 100th time, as I have done with Harry Potter. And I still feel that, like, if I reread Harry Potter right now, I would gain something new from it that I didn't get last time. And that's just magical, like, amazing. Nothing else I've read has been like that. Like, I've been like, oh, I'd like to reread that, but not in the same sense. The one book that I have not reread that I feel like I could reread again, but I don't know how much over and over again, just possibly again, but I'm scared it might ruin it, is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I absolutely loved, and I kind of want to get absorbed into that feel again. But I don't know how magical it would be second time round, so I don't want to reread because I'm scared. So I would definitely say Harry Potter, because I've done it, I've reread it over and over again, and I still love it, and it keeps getting better. And whenever I mention Harry Potter to myself, I go, I could reread Harry Potter. I mean, the whole series would take me like a month, right? Right? Yeah. And then I remember that I have new books to read and that I really shouldn't, because I've read all of them at least twice. The first one about 1,000,000 times, because I would always do the read up in the lead up. That rhymed. The reread in the lead up to new releases. So I have read the first book like 10 times in reality, if not more. So Harry Potter is just important to me. What book cover is the prettiest in your opinion? Book covers for me are kind of like, I see a lot of books in my time. I work in a bookstore, I pass a lot of books, and a lot of books have absolutely gorgeous covers. Case in point, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and they're just covers. I am a cover buyer, and there are some gorgeous covers out there. But let's, for this question, pick something from my current shelf. Let's pick my favourite one from my shelf and see how we go. I can't decide on anything. Some covers I do think are absolutely gorgeous is the 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Ray, which is gorgeous, including the sequel, which I can't remember its name, but it's also gorgeous. It's something about the Firebird, but I can't remember the name. I really love the cover of The Winner's Curse and The Winner's Crime. They are gorgeous. I love the cover for... It's blanking. Nope. Can't remember it. But, oh, The Night Circus. I love the cover for The Night Circus. Essentially, I love the covers for a lot of things. And I can't decide. I don't know my prettiest of all time. Covers are just too pretty. What book cover tricked you into buying it, but it wasn't what you expected? It actually happens for me quite a bit. I read a blurb, like the back of a book and the cover, and buy on that alone. I very rarely read reviews. I find they influence my opinion too much. Like, I can't form my own opinion because I come in with all these preconceived notions of what I think the book's going to be. So nearly every book ends up surprising me in some shape or form. But probably two of the most interesting ones that I've read recently that have surprised me and turned out not to be what I expected is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. The cover to me looks a tad tacky. I'm not the biggest fan. I think it could be better done. It's not bad, but I think it could be better done. And it made me think of a not that great book, but the inside was great. I loved it. And then on the other hand, you have 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which has a gorgeous cover, but the inside was a little bit cheesy and tacky. So neither of them were particularly bad, like neither of them were bad books, but I enjoyed The Book of Ivy more. But both of them, in opposite ways, kind of weren't what I expected from the cover. Which I guess is kind of what happens a lot of the time. A good cover does not a good book make. And neither does a good book necessarily have a good cover. And finally, what is your favourite children's or middle grade book? So I read a lot of books when I was younger, but I was horrible at finishing series. So nearly every book I would choose for this question, which is from when I was the appropriate reading age, because now I read middle grade and enjoy it, but not as I did then. Anything I choose would have, like, I wouldn't have finished the series. Like, there is literally nothing I can think of that I've actually finished, except for one, which I loved, but I probably wouldn't call my favourite. Probably my favourite middle grade read that I recommend to as many people as possible is the Artemis Fowl series. It is kick-ass, kick-butt, hilarious, by Ian Colfer, by the way, if I didn't mention that. My only problem is, My collection has like 4 different cover types. 5 even, maybe. Because they kept changing cover and not, like, they'd retrospectively do it, but I had the first 3 books in matching covers, and the third one doesn't quite match book 1 and 2, but it's on the same theme. Then book 4 is different, then book 5 is different, then 6, 7, 8 are different again. And it's a pet peeve of mine. But the content, even though I've only read up to book 6, I haven't read 7 and 8, it is so good. Like, so funny. If you are recommending for like 10 to 12-year-old boys or girls, like I was the kind of 12-year-old that generally read books for boys, not books aimed at girls. And I didn't really start reading contemporary till I was in my, until I was about 14. And I just, so good. Yet on that topic, somehow I never read Percy Jackson because I thought it was too boyish. What is wrong with me? I'm a weirdo. So that was the My Books book tag challenge. I don't really know who to tag because whatever. But Sabrina from Sabrina the Teenage Reader, is that your channel name? I think so. You should do this tag. And Whitney from Woody Novels, you should do this tag because you're the only people I want to tag in tag-wise. And I don't even know how to make you tagged. I don't know how to do that. Is there a thing to do for that? But also, if you are watching this and want to do the tag, just do it. Just do it because it'll be great. You are also tagged. And thanks for watching. Thank you for enjoying this new background I've got going because I'm enjoying it. And I will see you soon in another video. Bye. Goodbye. Bye.